Hello and welcome to Gardening with Granny. Today we're going to have just a little chit chat, and then I'm going to talk about the Every Bit Challenge. It is August 2nd, and this challenge starts August 1st. Now, you don't have to necessarily start when everybody else starts. The whole idea of it is that we want to do something every day to stock up, to put up. It doesn't have to be from your garden. It can be from farmer's market, maybe a grocery store, someplace where you found a good deal, maybe a roadside stand. But putting up every single day, having it on your mind, what little thing can I do today that will save me time later on for a meal, to enhance the nutrition of a meal. So I love to make my own seasonings, and although tomatoes aren't coming in yet, I get a cucumber every once in a while. We did have a dinner of green beans yesterday. There are still things growing in my garden that I can put together and make some meals during the winter time. Now, a lot of people think of, preserving as stocking up, or, waiting to use for that time when hard times, or the world comes to an end, the sky is falling. But basically it's quick nutrition. You came home from work, you need something quick. You can't simply spend an hour making a meal. You're starving. So you want to pull a jar of tomatoes off your shelf that you can, add a few simple seasonings that you dried, and put together a fabulous meal in 15 minutes. That is so much quicker than waiting in line at the McDonald's and getting a meal that is not going to satisfy the nutrition your body needs. So let me take you down to what I've harvested this morning. Maybe it took me 45 minutes, that's all. And I did a little bit here and there along the way. So I'm going to change views, and I'll be with you behind the camera. So in my basket here, I have all of the veggies and basically herbs that I have been growing on my property and in my green stalk and raised beds. And I am going to put together a seasoning salt. So I have a leek I'm going to chop up. We have lovely parsley and basil and celery leaves. I have some wonderful green onions, some sage, some thyme, some oregano. These are garlic chives. The 2 tomatoes are just for me to eat. And some celery leaves. And we're going to make a wonderful seasoning salt with this. I'm going to clean them up and put them on freeze-dry trays, and I will show you what that looks like in a minute. Okay, so we have all of our herbs nicely washed, and we're going to go through, sort them, get rid of any of the dead things, and put them on trays. Okay, so now I have my husband helping me with the camera so we can get better angles in that. So I've got my freeze-dried trays, and we're going to start loading them with the herbs to make our herb salt. So this is rosemary. Now, this is going to be an all-purpose salt, so I don't want to add a lot of strong flavors to it. So we've got some parsley, some basil. This is a different kind of basil. And it won't matter about the stems because we can strip off the leafy part. Doesn't matter that we're blending it all together because it's all going to go together. So we can load the tray the way we want. The more you put on the tray, the longer it's going to take. So I'm not going to do a, like jam it together because I'd like it to be done relatively quickly. Lovely parsley, so beautiful. This smells fantastic. These are our green onions. I could probably get a scissors, just let me. So we're gonna just, ready? Yeah, gonna chop up some more. Don't need them this long. These are tops to green onions. Oh, they smell so yummy. This is going to be a delightful all-purpose seasoning salt. There's some thyme, a little bit of sage. Sage is pretty strong, so we don't want a whole lot of it. Got a garlic chive in there. Oh, wow. Smell that sage. And just cut up some of this, thank you, sweetie, some of this celery so it's not so big. We may not want to use the stems. We're going to put this in like a blender to powder it. So it doesn't have to be really particular. You just want to get it on the trays and get them freeze dried. Now you could probably do this in a dehydrator. You could bunch up the herbs and hang them to dry. When I do that, what I do is I put a paper bag, poke a hole in the paper bag after you put the herbs in it, and that lets air circulate it, but it also keeps the dust away. And I've seen people hanging herbs along their fireplace and that, and personally, I think of, the dirt, the ashes, the dust. And I know that's been going on for years, but I prefer these newer methods where you're not going to contaminate it with dust. So I have a few little, speaking of contamination here, you just make sure that we don't have any dried things. These are garlic chives. I love garlic chives. Now, yeah, sometimes they look like a leaf of grass, but yeah. So here we are, we're just mixing all of these wonderful herbs together because they're going to be all together. Okay, now we will put these into the freeze dryer and see you in about 24 hours when they're all dried, and then we'll make our seasoning salt. So see you in a bit. Okay, it's a new day and all of our herbs are dry. They're crispy. You can see how crispy they are. So our next step is going to be blending them up, and they can go blend up together. So we're going to just kind of crunch them and get them into the blender. Got this new tool for my birthday. Unfortunately, it's too wide. I thought when I saw it that it would be the same size as my trays, but it'll work. So this is the first step to our seasoning salt. Got sage and parsley, thyme, oregano, garlic chives. The one thing I didn't show you was cutting up the leeks. See how? So they will powder up right along with everything else. Now some of this, we may have some stems that we'll have to get rid of. And in the meantime, if they come right off of the stem, we will do that too. You just don't want any stems in the seasoning salt, so it's okay if they become powder. Reminds me of a bench scraper. Okay, nice loaded blender here. Now we're going to go over to the blender base and put it on. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so on the cover, and that made quick work. But we're making seasoning salt. So basically what we want to do is check the fineness of this and add the salt. So we've got our Redmond's real salt. I usually like to use coarse salt, but so, what, 1/4 of a cup? Now remember, this was 4 trays that we have gotten down to maybe a cup's worth, maybe a little more than a cup's worth. Okay, so back on here. Let's give it a whirligig. It is not going to fill this quart jar, but just so we can have an idea of how it reduced. coarse salt would have been nicer, but I think the regular salt will work just fine. And we have some beautiful seasoning. Now, this may not be something you put in a salt shaker, but a lot of times when you use a seasoning, you spread it like this anyways. So I hope you enjoyed the video. This was a pretty long one. Until next time, this is Gardening with Granny, and for the health of it and health to home. Bye for now.